PeerServer lets you create a server in your browser over WebRTC. Here's a quick demo. Let's start with something simple. We're just going to type in a server name and create an empty template. This is letting us build a server inside of a browser via this server interface. We have our index, and we can add something to it. Maybe we'll say, welcome. Now, as soon as we save that, we can open our browser, and we're serving content over the internet. Anyone who goes to this URL will connect to our server and see our web page. So we can make this a lot more exciting, as with normal HTML. Maybe we're going to add a head. We can name it saying my website, and then let's go ahead and add in a style sheet. But the problem is that right now we don't have a style sheet, which means we should go and create one. So we can go ahead and create a CSS file, call it style.css, and just go ahead and add in some standard CSS. Maybe we'll say that the family will be something a little prettier. We can make padding, that's always nice, and maybe the color is going to be teal. Great. So we can go ahead and open that browser again, and now we have our style.css being loaded in just as you would expect with a normal HTML page. Now if we get tired of typing in files ourselves, we can just upload files. So here's an HTML set page that I made just to show us some different HTML tags. We can go ahead and link to that. We can say that HTML, some other awesome content. Go ahead, go to my website, click our link. There it is. We can go back, and of course, we could put our style on the other page and make it look a lot better. You might think, well, this is a little bit silly, shouldn't we be using templates? We can see that later on. We can go ahead and do that as well. So once we've done this, we have our simple website working. And it seems like there's not much going on this page because how much more simple could you get? But if we actually go ahead and look into what's going on, we can get a peek that things are actually a lot more complicated than they seem, because we have this outside JavaScript going on, and then we have an iframe, and then in here is where we actually have our website. You can see the styles have been inline, and there's weird things going on when you click. The reason for that is not only does PeerServer include a server in a browser, we also had to implement a browser in a browser, because all this content is being served over WebRTC, which means it's going between different browsers. And of course, a browser has no idea how to render content received from another browser, so that's what this JavaScript does. Wrote it, and for example, a really simple process like clicking a link. What's actually going on is after we've intercepted the file to render it, we go ahead and add a click handler that goes ahead and triggers an event just on the outer frame, which goes and asks for the file to be sent over the WebRTC channel. Alright, so that's a little technical. Let's get out of that. Let's go ahead and just keep building some more cool stuff. So not only can you build static pages, but we can also build dynamic pages. So for example, let's maybe, we have the theme of hello, so let's go ahead and make a path. And like with most server-side templates, we can add in some parameters to our path. We just return some nice simple HTML. It says hello. Oops. There we go. And if we save that, if we go back here and we just hit that route, we can go to /hello Sophia. And we have our dynamic path working. So as you can imagine, these are the building blocks to do something pretty serious, especially once you add in a database, which is an in-browser database, templates, just standard handlebars templates rendered in browser. You can put in static files, we can put in some cryptography, user sessions, a whole bunch of convenience functions with _JS. This is all available just right after you click that link to create your server. So as a sneak peek, if we wanted to save this, we could go ahead and download it as a zip file. That would let us go ahead and just drag it in when we create a new server to start off right where we ended. But otherwise, we'll close our tab and our server is gone because it's all over WebRTC, so if the browser tab that's acting as a server disappears, then of course the website disappears. If we wanted it back, it's all stored in local storage, so we have it back right away. So, why is this interesting? If we check out this poster, we built this in 8 weeks for our Stanford CS senior project. So this is a poster we put at the fair. It's pretty far from production ready partially because WebRTC itself is still rickety, and you'll need to be running a recent Chrome or Firefox, and even then your mileage might vary. But here's why it's cool. Before, you would have something that, Before you'd have something that looks like this. You have a server, you have a browser, and they're talking to each other, pretty simple. This is what we've done. We have a browser and a browser, but one of them's acting as the PeerServer. The regular server is still involved, but all that happens is as soon as you hit the URL initially, the setup occurs to connect the two, and after that, everything happens over this WebRTC data channel. So, just a quick overview. You serve the site directly from the browser. All you do is you just click the link to set up like you saw, and it's a low barrier platform for anyone. You deploy immediately, there's no setup involved, you can create from scratch, you can build a pre-built server, and you can get involved in creating content and publishing it to the internet pretty much immediately. So the technical details are the server within a browser, which we saw. We have this interface, and it acts as the backend. There's a lot of functionality you have. You can do crypto, you can do dynamic paths, you can do static sites, and so on. The hacky part comes from the browser within a browser, where we're providing the illusion that you're just using a regular browsing experience talking to a normal server. What we actually do is we wrap the content in an iframe and we sync the URL, the title, and the back button, so it all behaves as you would expect. What our site does, how we support that, is we process the website and we redirect all the resource requests over the Peer channel. So what happens is we get raw HTML, we go ahead and we find CSS, JavaScript, and images, we inline them, we intercept them, we request them when needed. We process forms, AJAX calls, and href tags, anchor tags, to go ahead and instead intercept those calls, which would normally go to the server and have them go over the Peer channel. And we sync the URL, the title bar, and the back button so that something completely normal, like going like this, is going through our code being intercepted to get redirected. And the user ideally doesn't notice anything. So go ahead and create your own app. Hopefully this gives you a better idea of how it works. And I hope you enjoy making your own servers. And if you like, you can also go ahead and check out the code on GitHub. Thanks.